Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for my in song and story sessions. This is number 9, I believe. Here we are at the end of May, towards the end of May, May the 20th, in the year of our Lord 2020. The pandemic does continue. It's getting particularly bad down in South America, Mexico and Brazil. But here in the States and in Europe, there are some easing of restrictions, so fingers crossed that we will kind of see some normalcy in the next few weeks. Same format tonight, 3 songs I have rarely, if ever, performed, and it's fun doing this. It is fun. We taped a song a little earlier on, but in the middle of it, the phone rang, and I'm just not sure how to manage that. Anyway, we'll Google that tomorrow. So. Here's a song that I wrote back in the mid-90s, and if you have seen me perform live or have watched some of these sessions, you know that I've got a great love for this country, for America, and also for my homeland, Ireland, and especially my hometown, Drogheda, or as we say, Drogheda, and the area surrounding Drogheda. Drogheda is built on the banks of the River Boyne. The River Boyne looms very large in my childhood memories and in my life today. My Uncle Joe, or great Uncle Joe, he would have been my mother's uncle, Joe Tiernan, and his wife Bridie. And Bridie would have been my grandmother's sister. Anyway, Joe Tiernan was keeper of the locks out there at a place called Old Oldbridge, 3 miles west of Drogheda, where the canal meets the River Boyne. And I assume with that position, he would have been charged with opening and closing the lock gates on occasion. He was also a fisherman and a sometime small farmer. There's a photograph of Joe, his back is turned to the camera, up in the museum in Millmount in Drogheda, and he's fishing on the River Boyne with a curragh, one of the old traditional fishing crafts, made from animal skin with reeds inside. Very interesting. But I spent a lot of time out at Old Oldbridge as a child, and Uncle Joe died when I was 8 or 9 years old. I don't remember what the cause of his death was. I don't remember his age. But I remember being very affected by a story my mother told me, that before he died, he was either going to drive himself to the hospital or get a lift in his car to the hospital. I'm not sure which. But he had occasion to go around every room of the house, and he went round the little farmyard and all the sheds and the orchard and had a good look around before he went. He never did come back, never returned, so he must have had some kind of premonition with that thing. It's amazing what goes on in our lives. So I wrote this song, it's called the Old Oldbridge Road, and the hill above the village of Slane is also very important to me in my life. Actually, in a few weeks' time, we were to celebrate our 40th tour to Ireland and my 40th year in music. And the first stop after Dublin Airport was going to be up on the old monastic ruin overlooking the hill of Slane, but that is not to be. So, anyway, they both featured this song. I wrote the song in the 90s, and we went into the studio here in Savannah with my producer, engineer, Phil Hadaway. We laid down a rough demo, got the timing right, and a kind of a demo with a guitar and rough vocal. And then another musician from town, Robin Beauchamp, wrote a beautiful arrangement for a quartet. So we had these 4 lovely string players come in and played their part. And then we added a bass and we added some guitars, and lovely stuff. And the last thing to be added was the lead vocal, me. And when we went to do a lead vocal, I found that certain parts of the song were too high. And this is not the first time I've done that. So we had to fudge things a little bit. And because of that and the strings, I kind of had a fear of the song. I never performed the song live. So just earlier today, I went and looked at the lyrics again and tried to remember the initial folk aspect of the song that I had originally written. So we'll give it a shot. See the rushing Boyne water from the old Oldbridge Road, filled with dark secrets and stories untold, swirling thoughts like the river running on to the sea, thinking of Roisin, of life and of me. I stopped for a rest at the foot of a mound, a most holy place on most holy ground. The silence grows loud on this bright winter's day, broken only by night when the fairy troops play. Walk with me on the old Oldbridge Road, walk with me out on the old Oldbridge Road. Roisin, my lovely, you've stolen my heart. The breeze softly whispers your name. Roisin, my lovely, from you I must part, but I vow I'll return once again. I'll come back again and again. I find myself high on the hill above Slane, silently looking at valleys still green. To the east, sky blue ocean lapping up to the shore. To the west once was Tara, that pasture once more. Roisin, my lovely, you've stolen my heart. The breeze softly whispers your name. Roisin, my lovely, from you I must part, but I vow I'll return once again. I'll come back again and again. Walk with me on the old Oldbridge Road, walk with me on the old Oldbridge Road, walk with me out on the old Oldbridge Road. The old Oldbridge Road. It may sound better on the CD. What do you do? Cheers. Once again, sláinte. Cheers. Gotta cut down the drink. Anyway, sláinte. Now, here's a song that's near and dear to my heart from this part of the world, I suppose. Written in 1968 by Jerry Jeff Walker from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And for me, songs are poems set to music, and I'm always intrigued, always have been intrigued, and love the lyrical content and the imagery that lyrics conjure up. And to me, there's just a lovely imagery in this song, especially for this part of the world, you know. Bojangles and he danced for you. silver hair, a raggy shirt and baggy pants, the old soft shoe. He jumped so high, he jumped so high, then he lightly touched down. Met him in a cell in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked to me to be the eyes of ages. He spoke right out. He talked of life, oh, he talked of life. He laughed, slapped his leg and stepped. He said his name, Bojangles, then he danced a lick across the cell. He grabbed his pants for better stance. He jumped up high, he clicked his heels. He let go a laugh, let go a laugh, shook back his clothes all around. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. He danced to those in minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. Spoke with tears of 15 years how his dog and he traveled about. His dog up and died, he up and died. After 20 years he still grieves. He said, I dance now at every chant in honky-tonks for drinks and tips. Most of the time I spend behind these county bars, he said. I drinks a bit. He shook his head, and as he shook his head, I heard someone ask, please. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles. What a lovely song, Jerry Jeff Walker. Okay, change guitars here, a little bit to do with the tuning, in case you're wondering. Once again, some songs were easier to sing back in the younger day, and I recorded this song in a completely different key. And earlier on today, I had occasion not to listen to my version, but to listen to the original version of the song, written by a man named Thom Moore. Thom Moore was born on Catalina Island off the coast of Southern California in 1943. It's treating. And he had occasion to come to Ireland in, I think, the late 60s, early 70s. Maybe his people originally were from Sligo, so he ended up in Sligo. And he stayed there more or less for the rest of his life. He died in 2018, but he wrote some great songs. He wrote this song, it's called Gorgeous and Bright, unusual song. He wrote My Cavan Girl, which is extraordinary, and he told me one time when we interviewed him by phone for a radio show. I co-host and I host and co-produce a radio show here on Georgia Public Broadcasting. It's been going since 1992. It's called The Green Island. So we talked to Tom one time and he said that Danny Doyle, a great balladeer from Dublin, did the quintessential version of My Cavan Girl. And Mary Black recorded a couple of his songs, The Fog of Monterey and Carolina Rua. The first time I heard this, we were in Sligo town many years ago. We had rented a house, a little cottage overlooking the sea on the south side of Sligo Bay, Ballysadare, with a great view over towards the lights of Sligo, and behind them first day with a new mouth, Ben Bulben Mountain. It's the only tabletop mountain in Ireland, an extraordinarily beautiful part of the world. Anyway, my wife and I, Tracy and I, along with my brother-in-law Tom Matthews and my sister Miriam, went into Sligo for dinner. And after dinner, we decided to go for a drink. So we went into this bar. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the bar, but it was across the road from the Garda station, the police station. So it may well still be there. So in we sauntered, and there was a nice fire on, and we said, is there any music here tonight? And the bartender said, yes, himself will be down in a few minutes, the owner. So himself did come down shortly thereafter, and he had a guitar with him, and he sang some songs. Wonderful evening. He started off with this song by Thom Moore, Gorgeous and Bright, and I love the song from the get-go. Now with that big introduction, I hope we can do the song some semblance of justice. Monaghan was frozen, snow fell night and day. Light of hearts chosen to set out from Ballybay. We meant to find Locakish, but the world was dazzle bright. A fire was lit, we drank a bit, then home before the night. Gorgeous and bright, everything white, even the Dublin Road. Well, a fire blazing robs the heart of its load. Oh my love, my life is never easy days. When you learn what wife is, you'll rue your girlish ways. Bent to law, but and go, it's written in the stars. But propagate you no mistakes though, when they close the bars. Yeah, gorgeous and bright, everything white, even with lights down low. Well, a fire blazing robs the heart of its load. The epitaph you count on is never what's in store. His metaphors, the bag of them, were angular and sore. No, wake me when I'm famous, that's what they'd heard him say. So let's drink to him and Seamus, and to all who got away. Yeah, gorgeous and bright, everything white, even the Raglan Road. Well, a fire blazing robs the heart of its load now. Monaghan was frozen, snow fell night and day. Light of hearts chosen to set out from Ballybay. Tried to find Locakish, but the world was dazzle bright. The fire was lit, we drank a bit, then home before the night. Yeah, gorgeous and bright, everything white, even with lights down low. Oh, a fire blazing robs the heart of its load now. driving the Dublin road, while a fire blazing robs the heart of its load, yeah, robs the heart of its load. Thom Moore's Gorgeous and Bright. Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week is a bank holiday weekend in Ireland. It's the weekend after Memorial Weekend here in America, and I'm going to do a second live performance, going out live on Saturday evening at 7:30, a live back garden concert on the 30th of May at 7:30 p.m. So we're going to have a PayPal set up and also a Venmo, and once again some of the proceeds will go to the Second Harvest Food Bank here in Savannah, Georgia. So tune in if you can. We'd love to see you. Thank you very much. Good night. God bless.